Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors, Tim and Julie Harris. This is the #1 daily radio show for realtors looking for a no BS, authentic, real-time coaching experience. What's really working in today's market, how to generate more leads, make more money, and have more time for what you love in your life. And now your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
Hey, Julie, we are back, and this is day 5, part 5, and we're talking about how to make at least $1 million in real estate. Now, if this day 5 is the first of this 5-part series that you listen to, I strongly encourage you to go back and listen to the first 4 days. Julie and I love doing these episodal podcasts because we are able to cover more ground, drill down more, give you guys more content, more information. And based on the feedback and the number of people that download the podcast or watch us over on YouTube, you appreciate it as well. So if this is the first of the 5-part series you're listening to, please go back and listen to all 5. And and you'll discover when doing so, we have thousands of past podcasts and YouTube videos. We've been doing this since, we think, 2013. We have recorded over 5,000 podcasts. We've been at this for a very long period of time. And so you guys, if you're really willing to binge, as some of you do on our past podcasts, well, that is the shortcut. Just go over to iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify. And if you've not yet done so, please do consider giving us a 5-star review on this podcast. Thousands of you have, and we certainly appreciate the feedback. And please also remember that the success of this podcast is due to all of you frankly, sharing the podcast and helping us get the word out that many of you can be more successful than you can possibly imagine because of this market. So, Julie, we are working into point 17, 18, 19, and 20, and you have got something pretty incredible to read to us for point number 17.
Yes, point number 17 is don't get bored and wreck your momentum. Now, this obviously happens more with our upper end grizzled veteran types, but I've seen it as early as a good, strong year 2 or 3. The boredom sneaks in. Well, our saying was always repetitious boredom pays off. But here's a quote that I like from James Clear, who wrote a book called Atomic Habits. He said, "The greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom. We get bored with the habits because they stop delighting us. The outcome becomes expected. And as our habits become ordinary, we start derailing our progress to seek novelty. Perhaps this is why we get caught up in the never-ending cycle, jumping from one workout to the next, one diet to the next, one business idea to the next. As soon as we experience the slightest dip in motivation, we begin seeking a new strategy, even if the old one was still working. As Machiavelli noted, men desire novelty to such an extent that those who are doing well wish for a change as much as those who are doing badly. We crave new things, and it is only the very rare individual that can stick with a workout, a business idea, a diet, or a challenging habit long enough to see great results."
Now, here are the two thoughts that came to mind as I was listening to Julie read. Obviously, it sounds like something we could have written.
I know. I thought you'd like that.
Number 2 is that, again, I've been sharing this with you guys every single day, and I know it's resonating with a lot of you because you were telling me so over on Instagram and on the comments on YouTube. But it's our favorite Charlie Munger quote. And by the way, Charlie Munger is, I think, one of the best authorities on business building, and frankly, what Julie just read to you, Charlie Munger has lived by. He is Warren Buffett's partner, by the way. So he said people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can actually accomplish in 20 years. So there's that. And again, it's because people quit too soon. But here's the counterbalance to that and what Julie just read to you. There's a difference between quitting and quitting while you're ahead. Now, what does that mean? Because what happens a lot of times is you guys can be trying to make something work that will never work. You can be spending your time doing the wrong thing because you have not done enough research on the thing that you're doing. You don't know what the outcome was supposed to be from, say, for example, that marketing and branding effort, and it marginally worked in the past market where, frankly, houses were selling themselves, and maybe someone did see your TikTok campaign or whatever, and you maybe in your mind thought, well, that's the reason that that person did business with me. One of the things we hear a lot was, where'd the lead come from? And they'll say, Facebook. Okay, great. So what does that exactly mean? I want you to think about what I'm saying to you, listeners. And again, this is a conversation we've had a million times. Well, I got the lead from Facebook, the agent will profess. Well, let's talk about that lead. Tell me about where that lead was. Well, it was in a neighborhood that I market to, or it's the neighborhood where I've sold a lot of houses. Okay, so did that lead really come from Facebook in the literal sense that you are doing, posting pictures of your dog and your lunch, and that's the reason that someone wanted to contact you? Did you ask that seller in this example why else they would have contacted you, or why they contacted you beyond just you thinking it was Facebook, because that's where you got the original contact from them from? That's where they said hello. And 99.9% of the time, the agent does not. But what they'll discover when they do is that it turns out that the neighbor 2 doors down actually used you to sell a house and referred you, or they met you at an open house, or something like that. In other words, Facebook was merely the easiest way for them to find you and message you, because when they searched for your name, they didn't know what broker you're with. They did not have your phone number, but they knew your name. They knew you sold in Omaha, Nebraska, and they then found you on Facebook and they messaged you through Facebook. And then you think Facebook generated the lead. Facebook did not generate the lead. Now, so again, what some of you will do is you'll spend your time not being able to validate with numbers what you're spending your money on. And that is going to result in you going down the wrong path for too long. And here's the ultimate answer as to whether or not what you're doing is the best use of your time. Don't do anything in a market like this that's not going to lead directly to you helping somebody and making money for yourself in 4 months or less. I say 4 months or less because days on the market is extending, right? It used to be 60 days or less, but now it's 4 months or less. So if you cannot 100% say that this effort is going to equal a paycheck in 4 months or less, don't do it. In this market, don't do it. And that's going to eliminate a lot of the things that you guys have been spending money and time at. And that's how, frankly, that's going to be one of the first things you can, all those extracurricular activities and all those things that you were hoping and praying would work to make it so leads, poured into your email every single day. If you know now, if you're actually able to be honest with yourself, that this effort, doing this marketing campaign is not 100% going to generate at least 1 to 10 closings within the next 4 months or less. In this market, guys, don't do it. Why? Because it's too damn easy to find motivated leads. Why would you spend money trying to generate leads? Again, we teach you how to do all this in the coaching program. We talked about this in depth over the last 4 days. Point number 18.
Point number 18, invest along the way as early and consistently as possible. Remember, you don't get rich from your individual commissions. You get rich from what you do with them.
In other words, you don't get rich from selling real estate. It's very important you understand that. You get rich from investing the profit that you made from selling real estate. Selling real estate won't make you rich if you have no profit. It's with the profit that you can reinvest in the things that Julie's about to share with you.
Yes. First thing, rental properties. We talked about that a couple podcasts ago. I'm not going to drill down too hard on any of these. The 3-fund index, we do talk about that a lot in the back of the Harris Rules book in the financial section. What is a 3-fund index? It is a 3-fund portfolio that uses only basic asset classes: a domestic stock total market index fund, an international stock total market index fund, and a bond index fund. Again, that's something to read up about, and that's in the back of the Harris Rules book.
You just inspired me to remember something.
What's that?
Why don't we present that at the event that we're speaking at?
We're going to. It's embedded in like the second or third part.
Okay,
Yes.
so the event we're speaking at is
Yes.
when?
Hang on one second. I've got to just...
I know it's in Delray Beach,
Okay.
Florida. Go ahead.
This is the Hyperfast Agent Summit, and that is next week, Monday, February 6th, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. We'll be speaking in the afternoon. It is located at the Aloft Delray Beach. That's A-L-O-F-T. That is a hotel, Delray Beach, on Southeast 5th Avenue in Delray Beach, Florida.
Yeah, so just Google that. You'll find it. And I think, Julie, don't we have, as you said, in the index of our best-selling book, Harris
Yes.
Rules, exactly what you just said?
Correct.
Well, we could just open our Harris Rules book and just read what we wrote.
Yes.
And just
We
present that.
probably will.
That's
Yeah.
probably what we'll do, yeah.
Yeah, just
So
a precursor.
yeah, exactly. That's what we're going to be talking about when you attend the event that we're hosting or co-hosting next week. But guys, listen, as far as investing along the way, again, remember what we're sharing with you. You have to build a viable business to produce consistent profit. The best way to do that is focusing primarily on being a powerful listing agent. When you get consistent cash flow and you have consistent profit, then you can start reinvesting those things. We have got dozens of rental properties. Virtually all of our best clients do. You obviously want to look into investing into things into your quote-unquote retirement account. Google 3-fund, what is it? The Bogleheads?
Yes,
Right.
Bogleheads.
Yeah, the Bogleheads 3-fund portfolio. There's the 5-fund and there's the 3-fund. But here's really the bottom line. These are index funds. They're Vanguard index funds. and like one of them is VOO. That's the S&P 500 fund and things like that. We're not stock advisors or financial blah blah blah, but we're just here to tell you that that is a way that you can then start creating more streams of income. But these streams of income take years to actually create. But when you think about it from a financial perspective, if you're saving money every single month, it's going to give you more of an ability to move away from a mindset of really, I think, being desperate, right? If you know you're socking away money into all the different things we teach you guys how to do in Harris Rules in our coaching program, when you are actually thinking about, like, for example, once you get to the point where you have money coming in every month to pay all of your bills, and you don't have to actually worry about the money to, pay the cell phone bill and the house payment if you have one and the rest of it, that makes it so that the money you earn from selling real estate will actually go towards what? Creating more wealth for yourself. That's the whole point of being. That's how when you look at the essentially I think the makeup of the average millionaire, single digit millionaire, someone with a net worth of 5 million, things like that. 99% of the time, they did not inherit it. They built it. They were small business owners just like you, and they built it from reinvesting the profit that came out of their businesses. You can do the same thing. Follow in the path of others. But without a doubt, no doubt in my mind, the best wealth creation vehicle right now for real estate agents who are serious about essentially being rich where their money works for them and they no longer have to work for their money is absolutely eXp Realty. I would say probably 90% of you will end up, when you move over to eXp Realty and you join with Julie and I, you're actually going to make more money just from the fact that the commission split is more advantageous towards the agent. That alone should be enough of a reason for most of you to want to join. But when you dive deeper into the eXp conversation, you're going to discover revenue share. You're going to just, hey, this isn't about making money, but it's something that will save you money. You're going to discover eXp's health care option. You're going to discover all kinds of information about ways that you can get the EXPI stock. All these other benefits you get, along with learning how and helping you to sell more real estate. And, oh, by the way, and it probably charges you less in commission split than what your broker is currently charging you. This is the reason that eXp Realty has thousands of agents joining every single month. In a market like this, when you see agents migrating towards eXp Realty where other brokerages, even national brands, are struggling to keep the agents they have, those agents are leaving and they're going to eXp Realty. At least know why. And we've made it easy for you. Text the letters EXP to 47372. Text the letters EXP to 47372. For those of you who are ready to join the EXP and you're looking for a sponsor that's going to be very proactive in your success, text me directly, 512-758-0206, 512-758-0206, and we'll have a conversation about why you might want to consider being sponsored by Julie and I. Again, if you're ready to join eXp and you're looking for a sponsor that's going to be very proactive in your success, just text me directly, 512-758-0206. For the rest of you who are just getting started learning about eXp, text the letters EXP to 47372. Point number 19.
Yes, point number 19, don't navigate the real estate wilds alone. Shorten your learning curve and strengthen your earning curve through Premier Coaching. We have our Harris certified coaches talking to you live every single working day. Why would you not want that support? That just doesn't make any sense.
Now, I'm going to tell you the thing about any organization that you join. So your environment, I was on someone's being interviewed on someone's podcast 3 days ago. Mm-hmm. And one of the conversation pivoted towards me saying this. There's 3 things in life that you can control. Really only 3 things. You can control your environment, your finances, and your health, all to a certain extent, right? But you can control what you weigh. You can control if you exercise. You can control what you eat. You can control what you earn. You can control what you spend. You can control what you save. But your environment, the environment is the one that surprises most people. Environment, you're thinking, well, it's my house. It's my this and my that. Nowadays, like in the past, 20 years, basically 30 years now, your environment isn't just your physical environment, but your environment is also your virtual environment. So your virtual environment is what you listen to. Hello, podcast listeners. Mm-hmm. Your virtual environment is the websites you read. The virtual environment is all the things that you allow yourself to be exposed to. I'm going to say it again. The 3 things that you must control if you want to have any resemblance of long-term sustainable success in your life are your health, your wealth, and your environment. If you cannot control all 3 of those things, something else is going to control you. So one of the best ways for you to get control of your environment, because listeners, believe it or not, is one of the hardest things to be in control of, is make sure you're aligning yourself with people that are also essentially wanting to move forward in this market because of this market. You are, a lot of you, waking up and discovering that you're in, frankly, a neighborhood or a community, or you're surrounded by people that are all looking for their, basically they're looking for a rationalization to be fearful. Or you're in a real estate brokerage where they're not forward thinking. They're all worried. The conversation's all about the real estate crash. It's all doom and gloom. How are you ever, what's the likelihood of you transcending an environment where everything else is trying to pull you down? You're signing yourself up to be anchored to, essentially a reality that is not of your own. You guys get it? That's the same thing that happens when you absorb too much media. One of the points in our book, Harris Rules, is 100% be media free. That means, what does media free mean, Julie?
It means don't, turn on the news the first time you open your eyes in the morning.
Or
Don't
at
go
all.
really at all. Because, excuse me, if something is happening in the world, you're going to hear about it when you're in line at Starbucks. You don't need to binge on that.
Media
Control
free.
what goes into your head, what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're listening to. And that's not just the things that are online. That's also the people around you. Be in control of what's going in your head. And we know that you do because you're listening to this podcast.
Well, here's an example. That's the reason when podcasts are taking off, because people are checking out of mainstream media because it's all become propagandized around politics, which is insane. I mean, I remember when we were kids, and it's not that long ago, believe it or not, that you would be able to watch late night TV, and there would be 3 competing late night hosts, and they never talked about politics.
No, they just reported something happened.
No, not even. When you watch Jay Leno, he didn't talk about
No,
politics.
no, that's true.
They were equal opportunity, bashers of Democrats and Republicans, right?
Yeah.
There was not one. You would not tune into somebody and have them be essentially so partisan one side or the other.
It wasn't an opinion show.
Exactly. Now everything is such an opinion show. So if it's not like if you're going to be essentially, an opinion show, the nature of that is obviously going to be at least 50% crapping on the opinion of the other side. Do you guys get it? You're not going to be able to watch something like that where 50% of what you consumed was negativity about your fellow Americans that aren't exactly thinking like you, and walk away from listening to that and feel optimistic and feel anything like being of service to other people. You have got to be incredibly careful who you allowed in your head, who you allow to form your opinions for you, and be okay having, some people have been asked, well, Julie and I, what we did this year is we decided to focus on fewer things. We decided to make our world actually smaller because we realized that in a market like this, the opportunities are going to be for those people who can focus. And that's always the way it is, but it's really that way now, especially as we roll into, guess what, another presidential election cycle. Are you all looking forward to that?
Yeah, no, opt out. So control, you were talking about controlling your mind, your body, your environment. I think that's really critical.
Well,
So
your health,
health,
your money, and your environment.
health, wealth, and environment. Keep it simple.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So if that means that you've got to look around, maybe make a broker change, then we can help you with that. It's funny that when people discover the EXP model, Tim, they always say the same thing. You can't unsee that once you realize it, and it will haunt you until you do something about it.
I could talk about it forever, but I know some people get mad when we do. But there are so many reasons why there's no compelling reason why all of you shouldn't have your minds open to EXP, especially, by the way, if you're an independent broker. Really, the opportunities for EXP, I'll give you, again, I don't want to get on my soapbox about this, but if you're an independent broker and you have a successful agency with 100, 200, 300 agents or even 10 agents, and a lot of you are going to say, I don't want to lose my culture. I don't want to lose my brand. Or maybe your brokerage is something that's been in your community for generations and it's always had your family's last name and you don't want to lose that. I get it. I wouldn't want to lose that either. That's part of your identity. It's part of who you are. Sure. Julie and I are business owners too. We totally understand. That's one of the beautiful things about EXP. You can keep your brand. You don't have to change anything. I'm thinking of the Chesson Agency, for example, in Wilson, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. It's still the Chesson Agency brokered by EXP Realty.
That's right.
I'm thinking about Carrie Shaw, who joined our EXP Realty group. Her and her team did $731 million in 2021. $731 million
in 1 year
from individual home sales, right? In 1 year. Okay. It's still the Carrie Shaw group, signs everywhere. Everything stays the same. All the branding's the same, brokered by EXP Realty. Mm-hmm. So there's so many compelling reasons financially to move forward with EXP. And now is the best time because frankly, so many other agents are joining. If you wanted to build revenue share, this is frankly one of the I think, most abundant times to be having real meaningful conversations with agents about joining EXP. It's something all of you should at the very least have on your radars. Like I said, if you, like Tim and Julie keep talking about this, it must be something I'm interested in. Correct. Text the letters EXP to 47372. Watch the videos on that website. That website is our group's website. There's 3 videos on there. Watch those videos. Read about all the benefits you get when you're associated with Julie and I at EXP Realty. Some of you, many of you, are ready to join EXP. I got a text like that early this morning. Husband and wife, they want to join EXP. They haven't found a sponsor. They've been listening to the podcast. They're ready to join. Just text me directly on my cell phone, and I'll help you out. Just text EXP to 47372. Text me directly on my cell phone, which is 512-758-0206. Or if we don't need to talk, that's fine as well. You still get the benefits of being associated with this EXP. If you're filling out the application, at the bottom of the Y Libertas site, it'll show you how to fill out the application. And you can just name Julie Harris from Georgetown, Texas as your sponsor, and that's all it takes. It's that simple. Let's stay connected because, again, environment is what matters. Are you associating yourself with people that are excited, that are motivated, they're enthusiastic? Are you associating with people that are the exact opposite of those things? It's no wonder why so many agents are needlessly struggling, because they don't realize that their environment that they're in has actually turned negative. And yes, guys, that actually can be your actual real estate environment. You might actually need to move across town where there's more transactions happening. That's okay. We can show you how to do that. A lot of agents do use a market like this to reposition themselves in the marketplace. Anything else you'd like to say?
Get to work. It's an exciting year in front of you. I'm excited for all of you guys. And I truly believe that this is going to be a fantastic real estate year. I know there's a lot of headlines that would disagree with that, but you and I study this every single day, not just in the facts and stats that we're tuned into, the things that we listen to, but also all of our thousands of coaching clients and our coaches reporting directly from the front line of real estate. And you know what? Those of you who are taking action and are keeping your skills polished and are conscious, you're already having a great year.
You guys are longtime listeners. Many of you are daily listeners to our podcast, so you know the facts about what's actually happening in the market. When you watch videos or you're consuming any content from anybody that's essentially a doom and gloomer, especially about real estate, do you notice how infrequently they actually use the facts? They're just bloviating about their opinions. I have people message me, send me different links to different articles and whatnot all the time. And the prevailing nonsensical thing that I'm seeing is that this time's going to be like the last time, and there must be a housing crash. I am so tired of listening to people who are supposed to be smarter than that, telling people bad information. I don't know why they're doing it, because they should be smarter than just to essentially think that what they think is right without actually having done any research on the numbers and the facts. I don't get why there's so many people that are, frankly, should know better, why they're seemingly hitting themselves with a stupid stick. I don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe they like that kind of attention.
Yeah.
But you make a good point, which is when somebody is bloviating, pontificating, speculating about some housing crash, all you have to do is ask them to back that up with fact.
And they can't.
And that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they
simple.
don't use facts because you can't use facts. They're not going to tell you 50% of the homes in the United States are paid off. And of those 50%, that 50% has over 50% equity, and the people with mortgages have an average rate that's basically 3 something. They're not going to tell you the fact that there's the amount of distressed real estate in the country is at an all-time low.
Less than 1%. Come on.
They're not going to tell you that the average days in the market in virtually the entire country is stabilized. And by the way, we probably have reached what effectively is the lowest point in the market. Now things are going to start going up in the other direction.
Newsflash, as of today, we're already up by 2.5%. We have rounded the bend with the number of home sales per month, which was declining. We've already bottomed out, and now we're back on the incline.
You notice how they're not telling you that? All they're telling you is that there's doom and gloom, and people are going to be, there's going to be all these people that are going to be losing all this money in real estate and whatever. It's not going to happen. They're not using the facts. I had someone on Instagram going after me, calling us NAR shills. Like, I'm not really even sure what that means, but I asked him basically, so you keep on spouting off points that sound like NAR points. You're a NAR shill. And I said, well, if National Association of Realtors is stating the facts about, facts, and we repeat the, facts. We're not shills. We're just what our little 9-year-old daughter says. We're facting.
We're just facting.
We're facting. We're telling you facts. Facts based on, numbers, not on our opinion or what you hope might work based on your, frankly, ill-informed opinion. So if you're going to argue that there's going to be any kind of meaningful downturn, nationwide housing crash, if you're going to want to believe that, you got to ask yourself why you're being attracted to that information. You got to ask yourself why you're listening to that person who's not backing up what they're saying with any facts. Stop doing it. That's part of your environment. You're allowing those people to occupy a space in your brain rent-free.
Yeah, if you're having any seriously, I'm dead serious about this. If you're having any conversations in your brokerage that sound anything like that, you do need to get out.
Get the hell out.
Get out. You've got to be surrounded by people who are enthusiastic about helping other people at the highest level and be part of that crowd. It's a lot more fun.
It's because they're going to make that their reality.
That's right.
If you're
going to think it's normal to be that way.
Well, but they're going to make the reality of it's going to be doom and gloom for them.
Right.
So if your brokerage or your environment is mostly negative, and you're going everywhere where it's mostly negative, and you're listening to mostly negative, you're going to mirror that environment. You're going to become mostly negative. When you go to the office and agents are talking about basically, hoping that their Halloween candy from months ago lasts so they can keep eating because that's their only food storage, I'm trying to make you laugh, listeners. Mm-hmm. That's in a negative environment. If they're talking about, there's going to be 30% of all agents are going to quit real estate. Bullshit alert. Julie has a breaking statistic for you.
Yes, at the end, this is pretty much hot off the presses. At the end of last year, we actually increased licensed agents by 134,700.
Yeah.
Up, not down.
We were in an environment recently where someone was saying there was going to be a precipitous drop in agents because of this market, to which we knew, because Julie and I love the facts, we are factors, we knew that during the previous 2 recessions that there was an increase in the number of agents, which this person did not seem to want to acknowledge because he was believing his opinion was correct. And this person was a prominent YouTube video creator who was spouting off non-factual information. Why? Clickbait. Because more people are going to click on a doom and gloom headline because of so many people are trying to reinforce that mindset because it makes them, for some reason, feel like they're part of the in crowd of the doomer and gloomers. All the while, the people that are tuned into what Julie and I are trying to get you guys to understand are going to start selling more homes, are going to build substantial real estate businesses, are going to most likely join Julie and I at eXp Realty, are going to actually make this market the best market of their lifetimes because of this market. Control your health, control your wealth, control your environment. That's your big takeaway from today's podcast. In the meantime, guys, thank you for allowing Julie and I to live our mission, our professional mission in life of being your humble podcast coaches. And for many of you, your real estate coaches, it is truly our honor and our pleasure to do so. Please do continue to share this podcast with so many other agents. That's the reason, that's really the top reason why this podcast continues to be the number 1 downloaded podcast, daily podcast for real estate professionals in at least the United States. Oh, and thank you, Agent Magazine, for naming Julie and I the number 1 coaches for 2022. We have not said that enough. I think we've only thanked them a few times. That was a nice surprise. In the meantime, you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll talk with you on the show anytime, because over on iTunes and on YouTube, there are over 2,000 past podcasts that you can listen to now. There's a great place for you to go to really reinforce your positive environment. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.